Well, let's take you to Melbourne now, and Joe Siracusa is there for us. He's an author and Professor of Security and Diplomacy at Curtin University. Welcome to the programme. So it is the final day of campaigning there in Australia. Who do you think is more likely to win? What's it looking like on the eve of the election?
Hi, Maria. Well, look, I've been through about 14 prime ministers. I'm watching these people, and these elections are a lot of fun. Your audience may not know this, but we have preferential voting, and we have compulsory voting. So everybody has to get out and vote or pay a fine. So everybody does. So, you know, you really find out who's on first base. Now, look, Scott Morrison he muscled his way into the prime ministership several years ago, and then he won an election last time, 3 years ago. He wasn't supposed to win. And now he's up against Anthony Albanese, the leader of the Labour Party, who's got a little bit of a lead on a preferred two-party basis, that is, a number of people voting, and he barely has a lead in terms of the primary vote. So, look, it's about even money right now. I think Morrison might get through just through inertia. I mean, a lot of Australians don't want to change the leaders right now. It's been a rough couple years with the COVID, and Morrison's asking for 3 years of leadership.
So inertia, do you think, could keep Scott Morrison there as Prime Minister? But do you think, though, voters have forgotten what happened when he was, when the country was burning and he was on holiday in Hawaii, and also, as that report mentioned, just taking a long time to get the much desperately needed COVID-19 vaccines?
Well, the COVID debates took place mainly in the states, that is, within the individual states of Australia. The federal government came in on it from time to time, and various state governments actually closed their borders, sort of prelude or maybe a dress rehearsal for climate change refugees. But they didn't want people from other states coming in. And so the states played it pretty rough. And particularly in my state here in Victoria, they had everybody home for about 220 days. Right now, the COVID's off the table. Everything's left to personal responsibility.
So what's on the table? Climate change, I know, is a big issue.
Well, climate change is sort of like the Greek chorus in the background. They talk about it, but never do anything about it. I mean, the big issue right now is can first home buyers get a house? Can you get a decent education? Can you live with the cost of inflation, though employment's down under 4%? It's getting a little harder for some people. And of course, a lot of Australians are on fixed income, so they're in a very tough spot. Look, neither candidate is very dynamic. You know, back in the day, the New York Times said about Jimmy Carter and Ronald Reagan, it's not about the lesser of two evils, it's about the evils of two lessers. You know, these are just two ordinary guys trying to be prime minister. Australia hasn't thrown up a lot of great leaders in recent years because it hasn't been great issues. But I'll tell you this thing, Scott Morrison is, one of your people said in the package that Australians don't really vote for foreign policy. Well, that's not exactly true. Morrison has chosen between Washington and Beijing, and he's chosen Washington. He's joined the AUKUS arrangement. He's going to buy either British or American nuclear submarines. He's made it very clear that he's going to be anti-Chinese along with the British and the Americans. He's chosen sides. The Labour side was a little more nuanced, but they haven't been able to fight back. The only people who have something new to say are the Greens, who say that the Chinese are not quite the problem that either party poses, et cetera. Okay. Now, look, this fellow is going to need a few more votes than he gets right now. He doesn't have a straight majority in 151 seats, so he'll have to lead with crossbench, that is, with the independents or the Greens. So, you know, people are talking about a hung jury. They talk about that a lot, but it almost never happens. I think he's going to slide through with maybe a little bit of help from independents. It'll be a very close race, and it'll all be over by tomorrow night.
And we'll be watching that very closely and bringing that to our viewers here on TRT World. Thank you so much, Joe Siracusa, live there from Melbourne, from Curtin University.